What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Early Edge, brought to you by BetMGM, the sports book born in Vegas. We've got a special show for you today with a special guest that's not normally on the Early Edge. We're going to talk a little President's Cup along with soccer, along with football, along with baseball. But let's see how we did yesterday. Quick look at the recap screen. Well, yesterday's recap screen was a winner. This one is a loser. 1-3. We hit the plus 100 even money play, missed the plus 124. Buckets goes 0 for 2, but he's been on a nice little run for us. So 1-3, we got to do better than that, ladies and gentlemen. And let's just get right to it. By the way, Mike McClure is in the chat. Ask him anything you want, baseball, football, you name it. He's got it covered. And oh, will you look at this? We've got Propstarz, no surprise. It's Wednesday. We've got Martin Green, no surprise. But Patrick McDonald, my friend from the early wedge, as handsome as he is humble. Patrick, how you doing today?
Long-time listener, first-time caller, gentlemen. It is great to be here with you all. Hopefully we can educate some of the listeners on the President's Cup on this long off season for the PGA Tour and golf. We get a little event here in the calendar.
Yeah, and then we're back to quote-unquote normal golf for the fall swing. I know we're not calling it the fall swing anymore, but that's pretty soon, right? What are we, a week or two away from a normal event here, Patrick?
Literally next week, so we'll be right back at it.
Boom. All right. I can give out some conventional plays like first-round leaders and some conventional head-to-head matchups, but we've got a lot of picks coming from Patrick McDonald for the President's Cup. But, gentlemen, I want to get started with some picks, and we're not going to start chronologically because – Proppy, I want you to give out your pick first. We know you've got your show. I dropped in on that show last Friday, at least in the chat, your prop show with EC and Uncle Dave. By the way, I did drop in that Kyler Murray over rushing prop as my favorite play in the chat, and that hit in the first quarter. But Proppy, you've been hitting too. Tell us about your play for the Bills that you want to give out.
Indeed, Sia. Yeah, we're going to Sunday night of football here, going back to the proverbial well with Dalton Kincaid. I'm going over again on his receiving total, over 38.5 receiving yards for Dalton Kincaid. I actually love this matchup against the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens right now rank 31st in EPA allowed per dropback. The secondary has been absolutely dreadful. They've been particularly generous to opposing tight ends. They've given up just under 300 yards through 3 games to the position. That is the second most yards allowed to opposing tight ends in the NFL this season. We saw Jake Ferguson absolutely torch them last week. Go 9 for 90 plus, almost 100 yards. Prior to that, it was Brock Bowers going 9 for 90 plus against them. Prior to that, week 1 against Kansas City, we saw Travis Kelce and Noah Gray combined to have a big game here. So I like Dalton Kincaid. Again, getting him south of 40 yards, I believe, is a pretty significant discount. We've yet to see the Bills get push. We've seen Josh Allen play phenomenal football. He is the leading MVP favorite right now, according to the odds. But Baltimore, as an addition to a good matchup, they look like they can actually push Josh Allen into a pass-heavy game script, which I like to see here. And I do think they are shaping up to be a significant pass funnel. As I mentioned, 31st in EPA allowed per dropback, very generous to the opposing tight ends. They're also a very good rush defense. So teams in a neutral game environments are shifting to pass-heavy game plans. Pass rate over expected so far. Their opponents is nearly over 3%, which is a high mark. So I like this matchup. I think Josh Allen's going to end up throwing the ball 30-plus times. I think Dalton Kincaid is going to be the focal point of the passing attack for Buffalo here. So I'm all over him on Sunday Night Football. I expect this to close close to 45, so I would grab this now at 38.5.
Yeah, I love what you said about game script and the Bills not really getting pushed, because that factors into a lot of bets, and it factors in actually to the prop I'm going to give out later in the show for Thursday Night Football. So stay tuned for that. Martin, I haven't said hi to you yet today. I saw Brad Betts in the chat. He said it's a great time for some footy, or he said something to that effect. We don't want your picks right now, but I got to ask you how you're doing. I can't keep you silent for 5 minutes.
I'm doing very well, thank you, Sia. Yeah, I've just about got over Manchester City's 98th minute equaliser against Arsenal at the weekend, and I'm looking forward to an action-packed slate of soccer over the next few days. So hopefully we can get some winners.
All right. And speaking of winners, so you saw on the recap screen, Sniper went 1 for 2. He had 2 plus money plays. The even money one hit. I say plus money. It was plus 100. But a big shout out to him from Jeffrey Aguilar. He says, quite literally, a big shout out to Sniper for the Aaron Judge home run prop. Cash it. So if you all are new to this show, most of you are not new to the show. Sniper's been giving out home run props with a couple of picks each time that he is on, and he hit the Aaron Judge one yesterday. So yeah, Jeffrey, thank you for acknowledging that. Big shout out to the Sniper. Speaking of baseball, let's talk about a couple of SportsLine picks. We got a game at 210. We got George Kirby on the mound. We got Mariners money line as a SportsLine pick at -130. I think the logic here is probably, well, Houston wrapped up their spot and was celebrating last night. I saw it on TV. Like, maybe they're resting some guys. Maybe they're not completely in it. They got George Kirby on the mound for the Mariners against Kikuchi. Good pitching matchup, but it does look like a good spot to lean on the Seattle Mariners money line. Again, that's a pick on SportsLine. It's been on SportsLine, along with this pick from Amex. Kevin Gausman over 5.5 Ks at -128. That game goes at around 7 o'clock tonight. Proppy, I saw you nodding a little bit. Kevin Gausman over 5.5 Ks. You like that one?
I do like that. See, yeah, Gausman's been pitching a lot better recently. Got off to a really slow start from the strikeout department, but if we look at his splits post All-Star break, they're more in line with his career averages. So I think this number is a discount considering how well he's pitched recently. I also look at it as a plus matchup against the Red Sox. The Red Sox bats have gone cold. Majority of the season, they were tops in the league, or top 5 at least in OPS. For the last 30-plus days, they've been in the bottom half. So not swinging the bats very well, striking out a lot. Gausman appears to be in good form, and we're getting a discount here. So I like this as well.
All right. We also have Mike McClure in the chat, as I said before, and apparently he is co-signing. I haven't seen it, but it looks like Matt has called out that McClure is co-signing your pick, Proppy, which I assume is the Dalton Kincaid pick. You love to see it. I do FFT DFS with Mike McClure, and anytime he co-signs one of my picks, which isn't necessarily often, I'm super excited about it. All right, let's talk about bets. We got to get to President's Cup and all that, but I do want to remind you, new BetMGM customers can sign up today and get up to $1,500 in bonus bets. Just place your first wager of at least $10, and you'll receive up to $1,500 instantly if your bet loses with bonus code EDGE. That's bonus code EDGE, EDGE. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got to get to Patrick. We got to get to my pick. We got to get to the Guru's pick, and we're going to do it right after this message from our partners.
CBS Sports HQ, giving you college football coverage unlike anyone else.
We're talking Big Ten.
Pre- and post-game coverage.
Are you encouraged with the way that this team responded?
Along with breaking news.
A lot of movement in the rankings this week.
Highlights and expert analysis.
That streak could be in jeopardy here.
Sure. What was your main takeaway from this game? How impressive was his domination?
That really changed the football game.
Let's go ahead and have some more fun.
Another wild ending.
The chaos continues.
Turn to CBS Sports HQ.
We're back on the Early Edge, brought to you by BetMGM, the sportsbook born in Vegas. There was a question about the college football show, and Mike McClure has answered that question for you folks. It appears that the college football show is at 2 p.m. today, like it normally is, but it's here on YouTube this week on this channel. Very easy. So, John Romero, thanks for the question. You'll get the college football show, and I'm sure you'll get the NFL show on Thursday as well. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel. All right. I'm subscribed to Patrick McDonald on Twitter because he's maybe the best Twitter follow of all time. Don't worry, you don't have to subscribe. You can just follow him. He's not so high that you have to subscribe to his Twitter. At least I don't think. But Patrick, you are like one of the best follows on Twitter at P McDonald CBS. You've actually got quite a few. I feel like we're on the early wedge. You got a couple of picks in terms of maybe some more global picks, and then I'm gonna read to you for a couple of more picks. So start us off.
Snake asked for picks. I kind of just threw the kitchen sink at him. It's my first time on the show. Didn't really know what to do. What do I do with my hands type of situation. But day 2 winner, I'm going to go with USA at -145. I don't like the overall event winner. US is a heavy favorite. I think they're up to -280, -285. So I'm targeting day 2, which is foursomes. Day 1 is going to be 4-ball. Everyone plays their own golf ball. The internationals in the U.S. are pretty even in that. Since 2007, the U.S. only has a 1-point advantage. Sunday singles is on Sunday, obviously. U.S. only a 1-point advantage during that same span. But during foursomes, since that 2007, U.S. has a 33-point advantage. And the way this golf course sets up with the par 3s all on odd holes, foursomes is pretty much alternate shot. That really leans into the better iron players. And with guys like Scotty Scheffler, Xander Schauffele, Colin Morikawa, and Russell Henley, the U.S. has the far superior team in that department, as well as the more accurate drivers. So day 2 foursomes winner -145. And then I mentioned his name, Sia, doing the early wedge with me. I can't go a week without betting on Russell Henley. And so I'm picking him to be the top U.S. rookie. You got Wyndham Clark, Sahith Theegala, and Brian Harman in this. Henley has the longest odds. I do not understand it. Guys are clamoring to play with him in foursomes. He's perfect for that format. I think he gets trotted out in 1 4-ball session as well. So he has the possibility of winning 4 points. I think he can win 2.5, possibly 3. And I think that should take the cake in this market.
All right. And we've got a couple of more picks concerning, and Proppy is quite literally on assignment. He had to dip and prepare for something else. But Patrick, we got a pick involving a couple of guys that were really good this year, especially late. Xander Schauffele, like no surprise there, but Taylor Pendrith, also a guy that kind of caught fire towards the end of the season. Let's start with Xander Schauffele.
Yeah, Proppy left to hit that Russell Henley bet, I'm assuming. But yes, Xander Schauffele, top U.S. scorer at 6-1. Scotty Scheffler is the favorite in this market. But you look at Scotty Scheffler in these team competitions the last 2 years, the President's Cup and the Ryder Cup, 0-5-3. I assume he's going to get trotted out with Sam Burns quite often. I actually do like that pairing. But with Xander Schauffele, you have a built-in floor of that foursomes duo with Patrick Cantlay. They have been lethal. They're 3-0-0 in 2 prior President's Cup. He's great in 4-ball. And the real difference maker between Schauffele and Scheffler is the putter, Sia. Xander Schauffele is a top 5 putter in this field, and I think that's really going to be key for him. And then on the international side, you have Adam Scott, Hideki Matsuyama, Sung J.M. really leading that market. They'll probably play all 5 sessions, but I went deep. I went to the second to longest odds on the board with Taylor Pendrith at 14-1. I believe Ben Yon is the longest at 16-1, but Sia, we've been on Pendrith for a while now. He's playing some really good golf. The putters really come around ever since he got over that shoulder injury in the middle of the season. He's been one of the best players on the PGA Tour. I think he is firmly the 4th best player on this international team. I've heard Mike Weir is really going to lean on those Canadians, Taylor Pendrith, Canadian, obviously. And so I think he's going to get a ton of opportunity, and I love that price at 14-1.
I love both of these picks, and I'll be honest, I wasn't really prepared to make picks on the President's Cup because people who know me generally know that, you know, the Ryder Cup, President's Cup, I'm not doing a lot of betting. I'm usually just waiting for the regular events, which pretty much happen every single week. But the Xander Schauffele top, I mean, not that I don't like USA to win day 2 or the Russell Henley top rookie, but because I had been betting on Taylor Pendrith so much this year, and because I think Xander Schauffele, I love your argument with respect to the putter and his partner and all of those things. Top U.S. score plus 600, Taylor Pendrith top international score plus 1,400. I think I'm going to dabble in those markets for sure. All right, Patrick, thank you very much. I'm sure you'll have before we get out of here, a soccer and NFL pick to add on to me and Martin's analysis here. By the way, if you have an NFL pick that you want to bounce off of me, maybe Mike McClure is still in the chat, maybe a pick for Thursday night football. I've already studied the Thursday night football game, which is why I'm about to give out a prop in that game. If you have a prop you want me to consider, let us know. Of course, we have the primetime show tomorrow. I'll keep it short and sweet. Rico Dowdle over 39.5 rushing yards. It's pretty clear that he is the best running back for the Dallas Cowboys, which frankly isn't saying much, but Ezekiel Elliott, I mean, I hate to just overuse a word, but certainly dust, certainly washed. And we're starting to see the split there with Rico Dowdle getting more carries. The problem is when you look at the box scores, Rico Dowdle still isn't getting a lot of carries, maybe 7, maybe 8 carries. And the reason for that is because the last 2 games, the Cowboys have been getting absolutely blown out by both the Saints and last week, who was it? The Ravens. They were down 28-6 in the 4th quarter, and then some window dressing at the end to make that score look respectable. But this is a positive or neutral game script for the Cowboys. Pretty sure about that. They're a 5.5-point favorite. I think we're going to see Rico Dowdle probably get 10 to 11 carries. He's going up against the Giants defense that's allowing well over 5 yards per carry. If he gets 9 carries, he should hit this total. And frankly, I think he might hit it in 7 or 8 carries. So give me Rico Dowdle over 39.5 rushing yards. That one is out on SportsLine as an FYI. All right, Martin, we usually have you go first. You've been chatting it up with everybody in the chat, including Brad Betts and all the soccer gurus, but you're the guru on this show. Talk to us about a play you have today and a play you have later on in the week.
Absolutely, Sia. Porto will head into the Arctic Circle to face Norwegian champions Bodo Glimt in the Europa League today. This game kicks off in about 2.5 hours. It won't be easy for Porto, but I do think they should have enough quality to pick up an away win here. They've made a strong start to the new season with 6 wins in 7 games so far in all competitions. They really impressed me at the weekend with a 3-0 away win against Vitoria. Meanwhile, Bodo Glimt lost 4-1 to Brann, their title rivals, on Sunday, which suggests that they have some defensive vulnerabilities. As I say, not going to be easy, but if Porto play to their full potential, they should take all 3 points here, and odds of -110 on the money line look great to me. While I'm on the show, always like to give out a weekend pick, and I'm just doing a little parlay. 2 teams, Inter Milan and Galatasaray. Inter lost 2-1 to local rivals AC Milan on Sunday. They'll be desperate to bounce back, and I expect them to put Udinese to the sword. Meanwhile, the Turkish champions Galatasaray should just make short work of Kasımpaşa in front of their home fans. So pretty straightforward 2-team money line at -108. Looks great to me.
All right. And I'm seeing that somebody's Taylor DeHart says he grabbed 37.5 for Rico Dowdle. If you can get 30, I saw it at 39.5 literally everywhere about an hour ago. But if this is switched to 37.5 at some markets, obviously, Taylor, I think you need to jump on that right now. If you like my analysis, I think you need to jump on that right now, because I actually expect this to close at most books at around 40.5. CLE fan says WNBA Mercury Lynx over 160. Don't miss it. Okay, we got some WNBA picks. Hopefully we'll have some more WNBA on the show, because I know the playoffs are here. So we'll have maybe some picks there. Big Cheesy says, I'm running back Josh Allen over a half of an interception. Love the picks in here. And then Gipper's picks. This one's interesting. He says, I played Ferguson anytime touchdown for the value at +270. Ferguson is an absolute target monster. I think the volume from Dak Prescott is going to be down just a little bit. I think they're going to lean on the running game just a little bit more. He's still going to pass a ton. Really like Ferguson props in general. So like that, Eric David confirming the 37.5 in some markets with respect to Rico Dowdle. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think, Martin, you probably covered all the questions in the chat. We waited till the end there. Patrick, I don't know if you were looking at the chat, but if you were there any golf questions in there for you to field?
I think there was one. It was for you, obviously, the counselor. It was John Rahm over Matthew Pavone and Sepp Straka over on the DP World Tour this week. I like it. Rahm's been playing some of the best golf of his career, honestly, on Live Golf. Had a great year, so ride the hot hand there.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a 3-ball, obviously. Maybe a tournament 3-ball is what the question was?
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I like that as well. Good question. All right. Let's take a look at the recap screen before we get out of here. I'm on Rico Dowdle over 39.5 rushing yards at -113. If you can catch this at 37.5, by all means. Martin Green, Porto, money line -110. And Inter Milan plus Galatasaray at -108. Dalton Kincaid over 38.5 receiving yards. That's Sunday Night Football, I believe, from Propstarz at -115. Patrick McDonald, he's got 4 plays here. USA to win day 2, -145. Russell Henley, top U.S. rookie, +550. Xander Schauffele, top U.S. score, +600. And long shot season, Taylor Pendrith, top international score at +1,400. SportsLine picks today at 2:10 Eastern Standard Time. I'm not saying Eastern Daylight Time, folks. I'm sticking with EST. Mariners money line -130. Kevin Gausman over 5.5 Ks at -128. That one tips at 7:07 tonight. A special show today on a Wednesday. President's Cup picks. One of my favorite people, Patrick McDonald. Give him a follow if you're not already. Make sure you're following this channel, by the way. Subscribe to this channel and follow all of us, including Martin Green, the Guru. Jake the Snake on the 1s and 2s, 3s and 4s, allowing all of this to happen. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Chris Kish, let's see, Ray Brown, Mark M, James Valdez. Thanks for participating in the chat, all of you. This has been The Early Edge. I'm the Counselor of Cash, and we rest our case.